is in Europe, so I have to ask her some questions about poverty without his,
you know, him being here.
him being
Presence.
presence. Yeah. Okay. What age was your dad when he endured a state of poverty?
I think he was like 6 or 7 when he moved here from Japan, because my grandfather was stationed in the Navy over there. So they had to move in the city in San Diego called National City, and that poverty there during that time wasn't as bad. But since there were so many of them, they had to kind of endure a lot of financial problems and stuff because of how many they had in the family.
Mm-hmm. Were there things that other kids had that he didn't have that you know of?
My dad got a lot of hand-me-downs growing up. I know that because he'd always complain to me whenever I got new clothes. He'd be like, "You gotta deal with it because I got a lot of, you know, your grandpa's old clothes." And I'm just like, "Okay, well, sorry."
How many siblings did he have?
Like 7 or 8. Yeah, 8. Yeah.
Were there things that he had to sacrifice while growing up?
He had to give up driving at the age of 16 because my grandpa couldn't afford getting a new car. So, and they only had one car for the whole family, so he couldn't get a second. I don't know, get a second one. That's what he wanted because, you know, boys, right?
And most likely he had to help out around the house.
Yeah,
with chores and
it was all of them. It wasn't just my dad. Like, I know that all of them had to help my grandma around during the time being, because like house was like really small.
Yeah,
you know, it was just too much for one person.
Okay, so now we're gonna be talking about her mom's side that had problems.
Yeah. So my recent trip to the Philippines last summer, I got to experience hands-on of what it's like to live in the Philippines if you don't have a lot of money. And the houses over there are not as stable as the houses they have here. So all of us here are pretty lucky because especially during monsoon season when I was there, like a lot of like the rainwater would come in and we had to put buckets over like where the a lot of the water would come in from the roof and stuff. My experience there kind of just helped me to be less of a selfish person and not like super dependent on, oh, I have money so I can buy this, or like, oh, I can go out because
Do that.
yeah. So now I take a lot of the stuff I used to take for granted, I don't take for granted anymore because of my trip there.
What about disease-wise? Do you know anything that they have
well,
any diseases there?
Yeah, they do, but when
Do they have like a lack of health care or anything?
the healthcare in the Philippines is really bad. My mom, when she was there visiting, she had to go to the ER because she stepped on like a rusty nail or something, got really infected. She was there for like a day and a half trying to like get a doctor.
Wow.
Because it's like a lot of the hospitals there aren't, you know, up to date or big.
They're small.
Yeah.
Crowded.
And crowded, yeah.
So now she's gonna talk about the capital of the Philippines, called Manila.
Manila. So I was going to the Mall of Asia. It's a pretty big space of like area, but to get there you kind of have to, you know, take a far drive through like the city itself. And for one, they don't have traffic laws. Like everybody's like bumper to bumper the whole time, so it was, you know, really easy to get into accidents, and there's like no police to stop it. So a lot of the laws that we have here are so much more stricter than a lot of other countries, and you know, India is one of them, as well as the Philippines. But also seeing the poverty over there is just, it's really drastic, because sometimes you see in the slums of the Philippines that a lot of the kids there don't have any clothes, so they're like running around naked and they're like jumping in like the lake that's completely trashed. It's like I don't even want to know what's in that water, and they swim in there, and like it's just really sad seeing, you know, all these people suffering, and then, you know, they're begging for money all the time and begging for food, and it's like you want to help everybody, but you can't. Because you don't have a lot of money yourselves, like when you're going on those trips, so it's just difficult to see like your roots. Also sometimes, mainly in Manila, but as well as like the little islands, most of the houses aren't really built like ours, so they're made out of like either garbage or they're made out of bamboo. It's so hard watching, like, you know, some of my family live in facilities like that or live life like that without a proper house, and it's just, yeah, my mom and I try to give as much money as we can so they can like have, you know, a life like we do here. So it's just, it's hard.